All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Run with the Wind, episode 4.
A new character has approached
yes,
our main
indeed.
boy.
Yeah, and he seems to be some kind of one of those, hey, I'm a rival.
Yeah.
I like to butt into other people's lives and talk shit.
I've got those dead eyes and the off Shinji Mato hair.
Right, exactly.
I'm totally likable. What? Me showing up is not at all a bad thing.
Right.
But maybe it could be a good thing because conflict, that at least makes it so that problems can be faced and potentially resolved. So,
and one of them right now is that Kurohara, he seems to be a bit still antagonistic. Yeah, resistant.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a better word. Against Haiji's dreams of doing the Hakone Ekiden seriously.
Yep.
Because, for one, let's be real, they have zero chance right now.
right.
There might be a 1 in a billion chance if they continue going in this direction, but a lot of big things need to change.
Yep.
And primarily it's that of the 10 of them, I would say at least 2 or 3 of them could be seriously potentially holding the overall group back.
Yep. And the qualifiers apparently are in fall.
Yes.
So that's they don't have too much time to work with. Like
Right.
that's a decent amount of time, but
Yeah. That is,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, we got to figure out how we're going to deal with this new character. We got to figure out how the group is going to evolve the training into something that will be a little bit more accelerated. And also, we got to see if Kurohara is going to be willing to help them in that process.
Yep.
Along with Haiji, so that they can have that dual protagonist kind of brotherhood.
Yes, this definitely
thing there.
doesn't also potentially mean anything else. Leave that for the fan fictions.
Yes,
But
yes.
also, how will Prince do? Because
He's
so far,
writing the fan fictions.
yes, that's what it is. He's
Exactly.
too busy
He
writing
needs
fan
fuel
fictions.
for it. That's why he's going to need to continue with the writing.
Instead of
stuff.
writing about a different form of cardio, he needs to actually get into doing the cardio. He's trying. He's trying. He's doing a good job of trying.
It's so that he can feel what they must be feeling when they come off of a run and they're all sweaty and hot and bothered.
He's a method athlete. Yeah.
A method writer. But,
yeah.
Yes.
Both. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Yo, that
was awesome.
Chef's
That was
kiss.
so good.
Beautiful episode.
That was fantastic. Like
it covered everything you need to do to end the beginning of the show, basically.
Yep. Exactly. The prologue is over, and now we're well on our way into the story.
We're in.
And I gotta say,
Go.
so you are a huge fan of running, right? So this is like your show.
This is my
right?
show.
I definitely loved the idea of this show. Like I love Haikyuu, like and people have said that this is just a really good, wholesome, like sports kind of show, right?
Right.
But for me, there needs to come a point where I get really invested in the thing in and of itself, right? And I love the characters and everything, but this is where the characters really took off, and I feel like I'm like, okay, yes, now let's adopt all these 10 boys,
right?
And have them go running and stuff, and it'll be great.
Yep.
And I even want to adopt freaking where was it? Sakaki. Even Sakaki, like he was being a bit of a dingus this episode, but I feel like we
understand him.
Yeah, I feel like I understand him, even if I don't know the details exactly, right?
Right, we don't know his innermost thoughts, but it's pretty clear why this is such a big deal to him and why he actually stuck around and kept bumping into them.
Right.
This guy looked up to Kurohara.
Oh, yeah.
He envied him, maybe, but I think what it might have more been is just a thing of where it's like, hey, Kurohara, you're kind of a god of running. Like, this is something where you are pretty incredible.
And try as I might, even when you're on an off day, I can't get close to you.
Yep, that's pretty damn inspiring. I will say that one of the things that is really fun about a sports dynamic where you compete a little bit with your own team is that you get angry competitive at times. So an example of this is where you see someone on your team or someone that you're kind of sparring against effectively doing really well, and you just go, oh, that makes me so angry.
I'm gonna beat them.
I'm gonna beat them. I'm gonna get as good as them or better.
Right.
And that is so empowering. But in this instance, there, I see a little bit of you went to this university. Oh,
Yeah.
do they even have a track and field?
Right.
Team? Wow. Okay. What are you doing here?
Right.
Kind of. Why didn't you go? You should have come to Shiratorizawa. But no. But really, you should have come to Tokyo University with me.
I looked up to you, and by doing this, not only are you spurning your own gifts, but you're spurning. Or not spurning.
You're lowering yourself below my expectations of you,
right,
as a person.
Yeah, exactly. You're letting down all of the people that looked up to you, and also potentially spitting in the face of all the people that, no matter what we did, we couldn't keep up with you.
Right. So now you're basically saying all of our efforts to, eventually find a way to grow because of you being our shining beacon.
No, it was all worthless.
It doesn't mean anything.
Because I don't really even care about that. I don't even care about my own talents and skills enough in order to take care of them. No.
Oh, no. Let's be real. Let's be real. That I feel like does not apply here. I feel like
to the degree that he's talking about. Yes, he's still a fantastic runner, but the whole thing,
he is actually like putting his all into running. He is still in university track and field running and stuff.
I don't think he is.
What?
No.
How can you say that? We haven't even really seen him like.
Here's why.
Okay.
His feet were heavy, right?
Wait.
So,
we're talking about we're talking about different people now. I'm talking about Sakaki.
Yeah.
You were talking about Kurohara.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
yes.
then,
I was talking about Kurohara. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Sakaki, yes, he is absolutely putting his everything into running, and that's why it pisses him off when he sees Kurohara.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
This, because it's come on, man. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. Right.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about? You were playing the pronoun game and switching up he,
exactly.
him,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
that gets all sorts of complicated.
Right. So. Kurohara, we now know a lot more about his character. It took us a little while to understand what was going on with his seemingly insanely talented running abilities not matching up with necessarily his love for running necessarily. And then when we have this really well presented form of a flashback sequence of him thinking about what Sakaki was saying, but also just how he ended up here, it capitulates in a wonderful scene with him and Haiji where he's like, yo, why won't you just leave me alone? Like there's so much they're setting up here with Kurohara being basically the one that hates the thing that he's so good at now because of the way it put his life into this position. And yet because of that, because of him doing something stupid like stealing a sandwich, he got put into Haiji's path, and now he's like, wait, do you like running? Do you love running?
Yeah.
And he's like, why would you ask me that?
Yeah. Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
Yeah. It's so good.
And it makes sense too, because even if he wasn't the god of running that he is, right? I can only imagine that without someone like Kurohara, or maybe because of someone like Kurohara, I'm sure it's all sorts of complicated, but when you're passionate enough about something that you really dedicate yourself to that thing, it stops being all sunshine and roses, right? Because there is the discipline and the grind and all of that stuff that gets put into it. And like I feel like it's when you're in a relationship with somebody, and if you allow yourself to be vulnerable with that person, then there will come a lot of points where you will end up getting hurt by that person, just because that's kind of how it works, right? And of course it's all worth it, right? But so then in this situation where it's gotten to the point where Kurohara has kind of given it up, certainly within the realm of the way that he used to, to have that kind of relationship he used to have with running.
Yeah,
I feel like and say, you love running, right?
Yeah, I feel like we need to break down a little bit more regarding that, because running is not something that he has a negative association with because running hurt him. It was a coach that was a really shit coach. Let's go into that, because that I will fight anyone that says that that's a really good coaching method. By isolating a player from the rest of the team, even if everyone has individual scores that are not influenced in the literal sense, like the direct sense by other people's scores, meaning like these aren't relay races, this is something where the results of Kurohara are there because of his talents, his skills, his work, his efforts, everything.
Yeah.
And Sakaki is not going to magically get better if, Kurohara gets better. But I despise basically people that are put into positions of power over other people's passions, where it's something where, because of my decision as to how I manage this group here, I am going to kill someone's joy or passion surrounding a thing. That pisses me off to no end. I cannot stand for it.
And I'm guessing because of the situation that they were in, this was the whole, we are doing this to compete at a very high level, right? The fact
They're
that
in high school, but yeah, they could definitely go for national level stuff like that,
right?
Especially if they have someone like Kurohara.
Yeah, exactly. So he has a job that he needs to be doing,
right?
But not like this, and as a result, oh hey, wouldn't you know it, the golden goose that you did have, well, it didn't turn out very well for him. Probably, definitely because of that. Like, I love how the flashback was portrayed too, because getting the little bits and hints that we had, the glimpses of it that we had seen up till now, that was great. I love it, so that way we're primed for it. We know it's coming. But when we get it and it's so spliced up, and we realize that this is all happening just because Sakaki comes up to him and starts talking to him, right? Just those questions and things like that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's just boom. He goes
back there.
He goes back to there. He goes to all the different times that he's interacted with these people, and it's just too much, right?
Yeah. Running in general is something that he actively dislikes at times because he's not running alone. So when Haiji brings up the whole thing of, no, don't worry, you never run alone, and he's like, I don't understand. What do you mean by that? We then actually see an example of where him running is him essentially running away from the conversation, which is before, he interacted with Haiji in that moment there, and then he ends up running into, what was her name? Hanako? Yeah, Hanako. Katsuha Hanako. Yeah, she ends up getting hurt, unfortunately.
Right.
And they had a little bit of an awkward bit of, tension regarding the fact that she's like, oh, no, I'm just glad you weren't hurt. And it's like, oh, okay, but I mean,
hold on now.
He's the one doing the running and not necessarily paying attention. But that little bit of primer for then when Haiji then, bumps into them coincidentally, and then it becomes a thing where it just spills out. Kurohara's like, why? Man, like, what is wrong with you? Like, basically, like, the kind of question that we all, as the audience, kind of want to ask Haiji, because he's so dead set on this, to the point where he's manipulating all these guys to try and, make this work and stuff. And freaking, what was his name? The lawyer guy. Yuki. Yuki. Yeah, is like, he's getting everyone to his side. We're gonna have to think of something.
Right. We must draw up our forces so that we won't get beaten in a majority.
Right. And look at that. At the end of the episode, they definitely did. The
way that this friendship angle is just being done in this show, God, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much, because I don't know, like, I've seen shows where you have the hyper competent protagonist with the black hair that the positive thing that they were really good at, they now hate as a result of negative response to them being so good at the thing or whatever because of expectations. We've
seen that show.
We've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it works, right?
It really does.
It works, and this is an excellent way to do it in a new, fresh way.
In some ways, this is better than a lot of the ways I've seen it, because we actually have relationships relating to the protagonist in this case, where they have a very varied set of responses to this whole situation. And then we're promised over the course of time that will get developed little by little with each of them.
Right.
And this is probably why I like the episode so much, and I think it's like one of the best ones we've gotten thus far, is that they actually handled multiple of the characters, like a bunch of them, going in and getting little bits of characterization. And the character that we were just introduced to, Sakaki, got quite a bit as well.
Oh, yeah.
We almost, entirely, I feel like we entirely understand him.
Yeah, that's one of those crazy things to me where his character was essentially introduced this episode. Like,
Yeah.
yes, we saw him in the previous episode.
And we got an idea.
And we got an idea because of his design and everything. It's a very communicative design, right?
Yep.
So we're coming into this with certain expectations of the kind of person that he's like, and what he does pretty much reinforces those, right?
Yep. Almost completely.
Almost completely. But for the most part, his introduction is just this episode, and yet
Right.
within this episode, you introduce a character, you make them go on not necessarily a journey per se, but his journey, I feel like, has started, and we understand the complications of it.
Yeah.
Making us feel so strongly about a character in certain ways, and then in the same episode, change it.
Yeah, make it a
Give
little
us new
bit more
perspective.
complicated and
Right.
approach it from a different angle.
Yep.
Yeah. I love so much that Prince was basically the other one that got the focus here.
That was great.
Having him basically like collapse,
Uh-huh.
you know, near unconscious at the end of the run.
Right.
And then, you know, Haiji ends up explaining the whole thing. And I love how Haiji kind of steps in, is like, okay, Dad's going to come in and talk to this bully, you know?
Right.
And it's cute and stuff, but I like the way that he doesn't get really flustered about this whole thing. It's Prince rising from his undead
on
grave,
now.
being like,
Yeah. Wait a second.
what did you say? This is something that's really funny that he would say this, basically, because what he's bringing up here, Prince, is something that I feel like they were even foreshadowing a little bit in the manga, you know, cafe scene.
Yeah, when the
where-
rugby team or whatever comes over and it's just like, move, we want this table.
No, the debate bit where they're arguing over something that they're passionate about, but they're not criticizing the other's opinions and stuff. And it's
Gotcha.
basically a respectful way in which they are heatedly going at like the fact that this is something that they disagree on.
Yep.
And it ends with just well, you should just go home and check out the panel that I'm talking about and see it for yourself. And then Prince is like, yeah, isn't it amazing? Like we've learned everything from manga, you know? It would be exaggeration to say that our lives were basically changed in this way.
Yep.
You know, they're not like criticizing each other for their, you know, things like that. He did say that's a shallow interpretation and stuff, but he's not saying you're a shallow person or something like that.
Right. It's the no. You're not seeing the whole picture. Yeah.
Right. And then that's basically what this kid is doing. You know, Sakaki comes in,
Yep.
getting a very light picture of it, but then Haiji starts to give him a little bit of depth, and then he's like,
Wait, yeah.
what?
I loved his response to hearing that they were going to run the Hakone.
Right.
Right?
What?
Yeah. Like, well, the what, but also the amount of silence beforehand where it's just, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because if he was just coming in all,
Right.
I'm a bully character.
you know, like,
No, he's here specifically for Kurohara because
He's
he's like,
specifically here
whoa,
for
I
Kurohara,
care about
right.
this guy.
Yeah.
In my own specific way.
right, all kinds of complicated emotions there, right? So then they come in and he's like, you know, you're spitting in the face of everything that, you know, that I've worked for and that you've worked for, and, you know, and all that stuff just by
So
hanging
all
out
the
with these guys.
criticism I give is justified.
All the
because you're
criticism
doing
I give
this
is
stuff.
justified, right? And then
Prince.
and then well, yeah. But even before that, or after, I can't remember how the order went, but Haiji
steps in,
has
yeah.
the gall, the stones to say, yeah, oh, we're gonna be at the track meet.
Yeah, at the end of the month. We'll
Wait,
see you there.
you're actually wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we gotta qualify. You know,
Yeah, we have to
wait,
have official records, you know,
Yeah,
a little bit there. Yeah.
qualify for what? Oh, we're running the Hakone.
And everyone else is like, yeah,
No, don't tell him that, because it's a declaration of war when they are underleveled, you know.
Right.
And it's just this, like, some switch flipped, a breaker skipped, you know, like he's just,
Yeah.
this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Windows has failed
Right.
blue screen.
And it's something where, on the one hand, it feels like a negative thing where he's saying,
Yeah.
no way,
Right.
are you kidding? But then on the other hand, because Haiji says it with such gall, with such confidence, there's this part of him that's just like,
Yeah,
no.
seriously. And I love that he turns to Kurohara and he's like, he ignores Haiji. He's like, seriously? Is this
Yep.
what you're doing?
Uh-huh.
Basically saying a couple things. One of the ones I kind of like to think of, it doesn't have as much evidence, but it's with them?
Oh, but not with me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought you gave up running,
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Here I was hoping that maybe someday you'd end up coming back to running, and we'd run together like old times, and I'd be able to show you how much I'd grown.
Yeah.
No.
God.
Okay.
I love how Prince, basically being the exact opposite of Kurohara in every way, basically shows himself being very similar to Kurohara in this like specific instance where he's like, I'm not sure if these are my friends or not. And he's like, oh, hey. Yuki's like, hey, whoa, bro, come on, man. Come on now. But at the very least, they recognize me, my ideas, my worth. That's Haiji recognizing you, Kurohara, beyond just the initial bit of, he's fast, but also all this other stuff that's happened since then. It's not just a little flash in the pan thing because, I've equated you down just to be you fast boy. Right. That's it.
Yeah, the whole idea, I can't remember, who was it that said it? Was it Kurohara talking to himself in like the looking back on like previous events? But when the line of the all you can do is run. Like I said that earlier in the reaction. I hope no one got
he said that about himself.
Right.
And it was the girl, Hanako, who basically was like, you're an athlete, you're really fast. Like that's something that's all I know about you. And he's like, that's all I can do. That's all I am.
I am so excited for that to get vanquished.
Yeah. But I love Prince's monologue here. It's so good. The only thing that matters is who we are.
Yep.
Oh my God. I feel that. I feel that so much.
So and at that point, something burst inside him, or he popped something. The last vestiges of energy within his soul died and collapsed.
I love that Haiji has the Prince. You heard him. And then it like switches over and Yuki's just like, but that was quick. Yeah, right. Like he's actually observing Haiji's kind of little switch flip as well. And then basically coming over to, Kurohara's side and being like, hey.
He'll get faster, even faster than when you knew him. Yep. Yeah.
He runs off. He has nothing to say there.
And then
he actually like calls out to him.
That was so good.
We'll meet again.
And like,
you know what that's kind of like saying? Well, I kind of like this, and it's something that's rather cool. Is when the episode started, we saw him absolutely crushing the 5K that they were doing there. Puts up a good score, but it's more that the coach then looks at the other players' scores and is like, no, these are horrible. Go off and go start running again.
You're all deficient and
exactly. But Kurohara wanted to go in and join up running with them as well. And it's like, no. You basically
you're different. Yeah.
You got a good score. You don't have to be punished like this or something.
Right.
But what he's saying is we'll meet again is basically like, no, we don't have to be pulled apart by this thing.
So
I will see you again, which is also like saying you are going to be at my level, basically, at this thing, right? Like, do your best. It's basically the ganbate in some ways.
Because I'm not going to be running as your teammate, anymore. But we will be running together.
Yeah.
So, like that whole line, oh man, Sakaki's like confusion, like when he says that, like his response and everything. But you know that underneath all of that, while there's this like. There almost feels to me like there's this apprehension of like he's confused because he's like, no, don't say this because you better follow up. You can't promise something like this and not follow through, right? If you're saying this, it better be for real.
Yeah.
And then, but it said, runs off.
That was so good. Yeah. Quick thing I just wanted to make mention here, though. I was wrong about the voice actor. It is actually Tsukishima. It is Shigaraki, Tsukishima.
That iconic voice.
Yeah, all those wonderful characters voicing Shindo.
Right.
Or Sugiyama Takashi.
Yeah.
But that's just really cool. And now we have our Nakama moment where they're going to be comrades in arms together, going comrades in legs. And
the light
sun doth shine.
Yep.
They're headed for breakfast and get that protein in them, that protein.
Yep.
And then he sees them all and he's like, I get to run with them.
And the best part.
Yep. The wind kind of picking him up.
Yep.
Like his feet no longer being heavy, and he kind of like hop skips towards something there. That little bit of joy.
Yep.
That's just that's so good.
Like
See, running solo is not actually that fun. While I say I like running a lot, I don't actually like running by myself that often. I especially hate running by myself on a treadmill.
Oh God, yeah.
But I will tell you, if you run with someone else, doesn't matter what form of style of running or where it is or
Even
context.
if it's just the wind.
No. It has to be a human being, Jake.
Okay,
It has
yeah,
to be
yeah.
a human being. Or dog. A dog actually could be fine. Yeah. Actually, I've done a bunch of dog running, walking, you know. This is fun. But, you know, it makes it so much better. So, yeah. But so many good things this episode.
Yep,
We
it was
got
wonderful.
a lot more development for Kurohara. I really like the way they do his backstory. You've said this multiple times.
Yep.
But the way in which they made the motif of a character that runs, aka someone that is one that avoids their problems primarily. They avoid their story. They're a reluctant protagonist. The competent protagonist in the sports anime setting, but also one that has so much yearning,
Right.
but it's choked. It's basically been choked out of him. And now as he's getting closer and going to build relationships with all these boys and stuff,
Yep.
that's going to be free. His wings will take flight. He will
be wonderful.
and he will run with the wind. And
Yes.
it'll be glorious. It'll be so good.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else other than say than like I'm so excited for this show.
Yeah, me
No,
too. Me
like,
too. This is gonna be great.
This is
It
gonna
already
be
is
really
great, but
good.
like, let's see this happen.
Any like goofy moments you wanted to call out? Like funny moments or anything like that? Because there were a couple.
The
like,
JoJos,
little
are always
things like
fun.
that. Yeah.
JoJos are always fun.
Yeah. I thought the rugby track big body improvement club, whatever they are, basically,
just showing up and kicking them out,
having that like goofy moment of like, we will
We will rise
awkwardly-
again one day.
we will run with the wind out of here and away from y'all. That was pretty funny, just in general. Yeah, and I think looking back at the scene, I think it was mostly because they had finished eating at that point, so it was kind of a thing of like, hey,
Right.
you're just talking about manga and everything, so like you gonna scoot the seats out, and stuff.
Right. No king rules forever. Yep.
But and then also debating but the protagonist said it. It's like no, that's such a shallow interpretation.
But did you read the panel right after that?
Right. The phrase it's just a game is such a weak mindset,
Oh boy.
Yeah. This was a great time to just get attached more to the group of them as a whole.
Yeah.
And,
It did a very good job of that.
yeah. And I think that is basically like the prologue basically being done.
I think so.
Yeah. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, we have a Twitch channel. We stream from Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Mondays we do podcasts. Tuesdays, One Piece dramatic manga readings. Wednesdays and Fridays, this guy is gaming.
Yeah, I'm playing Hades right now, but I'll be quickly following that up with Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, and then on Thursdays, I do gaming, which right now is Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.